In this video, I want to go over what does it cost to seal pavers, specifically if you live here in Florida. I can't speak on behalf of other states because I know up north they charge more than they do here in Florida to seal pavers. But then again, up north they can only seal pavers a few months out of the year versus down here in Florida we can seal all year round. So let's just jump right into it. A lot of people think that the price that we come up with is only based off the square footage. And I just want to let you know that yes, square footage is a main component on coming up with the price, but it's certainly not the other factor. So what are some of those other factors? One of those factors would be, have your pavers been sealed before? And if they have, we need to look at those pavers. We need to put eyes on it because we need to know if the previous seal did it hold up? Did it fail? If it fails, do we need to take it off? Does it have efflow? Are they stained? There's all kinds of things that we won't know until we actually put eyes on the pavers and have an opportunity to ask the homeowner some questions. Also, speaking of stains, there's different chemicals that we have to use depending on the stain. And so if it's stained throughout, that's going to take a lot of chemical. But more importantly, it's also going to require those chemicals to be neutralized. Because if you're treating rust stains or efflorescent stains or maybe some oil stains, you're using different types of chemicals. And afterwards, you need to neutralize that, because if you don't, when it's time to seal later that day or maybe the next day, you could possibly have a chemical reaction because you didn't properly neutralize the chemicals from the day before when you were treating those stains. Another thing we look at specifically like pool decks is, believe it or not, how many doors there are to that lanai. Because if a lanai only has one door versus two, that means it's going to take twice as long to rinse, to wash, and things like that, because there's only one door for all of it to go out of versus two doors. So these little things, they add up. They make a difference. How well the area drains, that's another thing. If it has really bad drainage, well, that project just went from 1 day to 2 days, or possibly 2 days to 3 days, because we need to wait for it to dry. So all of these things play a factor. But here in the Tampa, Florida area, you as a homeowner should expect to pay somewhere on average from a reputable company that's using a sealer that's going to hold up. You should expect to pay somewhere between $1.40 to $2 a square foot, again depending on the condition of your pavers. Now, this is very, very important because a lot of homeowners are shocked and they think just any sealer can go on their pavers. That is far from the truth. I talk about it in almost all my videos that living in Florida requires a completely different sealer than if you live somewhere else. And I'll give you my own personal example. When I got ready to retire from the Air Force, Tiff and I were considering moving to her home state of Virginia. In Virginia, we would have used a completely different sand, we would have used a completely different sealer, and the whole process would have been completely different. In Florida, because we get so much rain and we get so much humidity, you have to use a sealer that's compatible for that. If you don't, and you go the cheap route on this or the lowest price vendor, you're running the risk of him or her putting down a sealer that 4, 5, 6 months down the road, you're going to start noticing failing issues. That it's going to get real blotchy and white, or it's going to start delaminating or turning yellow. And that same $1,000 seal job has now turned into $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to have it fixed. So we don't just base our price off of just the square footage. Again, it is a key component, but there's more to it than that. And you as a homeowner, I just can't foot stomp this enough how important it is that you're choosing a vendor that's using a sealer, hopefully that comes with a warranty or some type of guarantee, because homeowners unfortunately just don't understand how expensive it costs to fix a bad seal job. So if you're interested, if you'd ever like to for us to come out and take a look at your pavers, feel free to call or text 813-335-2869. You can see our work on our website at www.Premier Pro Wash and Seal, or on our Facebook page, again, at Premier Pro Wash and Seal. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this, because this is very important for especially our homeowners that are coming from somewhere else that haven't been exposed to sealing here in the Florida area.